Are you considering living in Kansas City, Missouri, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, where do I even start? Well, that's because it is the largest city in Missouri and there's a lot of space here, right? So I'm gonna break this video down into a map of Kansas City, as well as just some of the highlights of all the things that are going on in Kansas City, as well as some of the places to live. So stay tuned, you are not gonna wanna miss this information. My name is Julie Spaulding. I sit real estate here in Kansas City for Better Homes and Gardens, Kansas City Homes. All right, let's jump into Kansas City, Missouri. Oh my goodness, it's so large, right? So Kansas City is comprised of 3 different counties, as well as 15 school districts, 400 square miles, and 500,000 people. So if you're confused on where to live, that's a legit concern. So to help you out, I am going to break up the city into the 3 different counties that it touches in Missouri. So the first one is Platte County. Platte County includes the airport, and it comes basically down from the airport to downtown and cuts there at the river and then also at 169 Highway. On the other side of 169 is Clay County. And Clay County goes up basically to Liberty and goes down to the river. Also catches a little bit of downtown as well. And then the largest of the 3 counties is Jackson County. And Jackson County is south of the river, and it goes into not quite to Independence or Lee Summit, but it comes pretty far south and actually includes Martin City, but not quite Belton. So, and what you'll see here on the map are actually 3 different areas that have not been incorporated or not been annexed into Kansas City, Missouri. So you will see that there's North Kansas City and Gladstone up north, and Raytown and Grandview down south. So those are not actually part of Kansas City, Missouri, even though they're surrounded by Kansas City, Missouri. So that's the map. That's kind of gives you an idea of how things are laid out. And let's just talk about some of the things that are in Kansas City, Missouri. When people think Kansas City, they hear Kansas and sometimes think Kansas, but most of the things that you think about are actually on the Missouri side, like the Chiefs and the Royals. Those are on the Missouri side. You also have, of course, all of downtown. That's in Kansas City, Missouri. And if you look at downtown, that's where the streetcar is. That's where the T-Mobile Center is. That's where Power and Light. So, you know, all of those things a lot of people think about when they think of Kansas City. And then if you go a little bit further south, still in Missouri, you have Union Station, the World War I Museum, Crown Center. Then you also have the Nelson Art Gallery, the Kemper Arena. Even the airport is still in Kansas City, Missouri, up at the top in Platte County. So all kinds of things are on the Missouri side and are in Kansas City, Missouri. So a couple things that maybe you haven't heard of, and I just wanted to briefly talk about because there's some great things happening downtown. There's a $200 million South Park loop that's going to be this gigantic park over the highway. And H&R Block has helped to really try to fund that. But it's going to be this large state-of-the-art destination park that's being built on top of the highway. So the highway will go underneath it. It's really cool. So, and it's called the South Park Loop. And you probably already heard from many people, or maybe in some of my other videos, but in 2026, Kansas City is going to be one of the 16 cities in North America to host the World Cup finals. Now, that is a big deal, all right? The other cities that are hosting it in the United States are large, much larger than Kansas City, but this city loves their soccer. So it's gonna be awesome. And we are working hard all over the city to make that an amazing experience for everyone that comes here to visit. So there's the South Park Loop. And then in addition to that, there's something called the Imagine Downtown KC 2030. Not quite all done by 2026, like many of the projects, but it's one of those that is creating more opportunities for fair housing, many opportunities for diversity and inclusion, There's actually 10 podcasts just on this project. I will link both the South Park Loop and the Imagine Downtown videos so that you can have an opportunity, and the websites, to take a look at those, because there's some pretty cool things happening in the city. Okay, so let's kind of talk about where to live in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, also another challenging question. I can tell you that there is every type of housing possible in Kansas City, Missouri. There are condos and townhomes and single family homes and high rises, and about anything that you want, you can find it in Kansas City, Missouri. There's also all kinds of price ranges. So you can have something that's in the 100,000s, but you can also have something that's in the millions. So again, you're gonna have to just kind of feel it out and find out what you want. Do you want to be, in an urban setting? Do you want more of a suburb type feel?
What do I want? What do I want?
There are actually a few areas in Kansas City, Missouri where you could get some land. So there's lots of different options. I'm going to break it down by areas, and within those areas are several different neighborhoods. It's a tough thing to name all the different neighborhoods. There's a lot of them. So that's why you need a realtor. So let's start with downtown, right? Because that's what most people know. So if you're wanting an urban feel, there's lots of great opportunities for that in that downtown area, and even expanding out of that a little bit. So there are condos and townhomes. There's even a few single family homes downtown. And if you're in that downtown area, the east side is being renovated and being revitalized a little bit. It's just a little bit older, and so they're working on that one as well. Of course, they're building new apartments. River Market area, if you're going just a little bit, right out to the north side of downtown, that whole area has grown. They're putting in tons of apartments and condos down there as well. And that's closer to where that South Loop Park is going to be. And then if you go through downtown and you go a little bit south there, you get down into the Crossroads area, and then that moves into Westport, and then you kind of hit the plaza. You have lots of different opportunities kind of within that, from River Market, downtown, Crossroads, Westport, and then the plaza is if we're going south. So there's downtown type of area. And then if you go a little bit further north, up north of the river, let's just say, in Platte City, what's really kind of cool in Platte County is they have like 3 or 4 lake communities, which is really nice. Lake Wacomas, Riss Lake, and Weatherby Lake are the 3 that come to mind right away. And then there's a couple other ones that are just smaller ones, more that there's a lake in them, but those first 3 are actually more lake communities. So then if you move kind of over into Clay County, they have some great areas up there too. It's all, pretty much suburban areas. They have Briarcliff and Forest Ridge, Stanley Farms, and there's some really great opportunities for homes up there as well. And a lot of people like to be more up north, 1, because they like to be in Missouri, 2, they maybe need to be closer to the airport, or they're going to be traveling north, but there's a lot of great opportunities up in the kind of the Northland, I would call that. So then if we move down into Jackson County, so that is again downtown where the plaza is. If you go south of the plaza, you hit some Ward Parkway. There's lots of very, very, very nice houses along Ward Parkway. Hyde Park has some incredible houses there as well. Brookside, Waldo, all of those are a little bit older homes. Most of those have a lot of character and have been redone and revitalized as well. And then you move down and you get closer to the 435, and you have Red Bridge area, which is very well established, some really nice single family homes as well, and all the way down into Martin City. So Martin City used to be its own city. Now it's annexed into Kansas City, Missouri. So again, lots of different places to live, and all of them have a little bit different feel, but something for everyone. One more thing that I want to mention, and those are parks, because Kansas City, Missouri has the largest park, a couple of the largest in the entire metro area. And the first one is Swope Park. Swope Park's been around a long time. It's one of the largest in the country as far as a city park. It has around 1,800 acres of land. It's where you're gonna find the Kansas City Zoo, Starlight Theater. They have golf, they have zip lining, and several just acres and acres of land where you can walk and hike and do those kind of things. There's also Loose Park, which is just south of the plaza. And it's a beautiful park. It's got a lake. You can walk around it. It has pickleball and tennis. Tennis people probably don't like me saying pickleball, but you could play pickleball there. It's just a really pretty, nice park in the city. There's also Penn Park. Many of you might not know about Penn Park, but you have seen pictures from Penn Park. So the nice thing about Penn Park is that it has a really, really nice view of the city. So a lot of those pictures that you see, like there's the guy on the horse, that's up at Penn Park. A lot of those city pictures are coming from that park. So if you run a really good view of the city, that's where you'd want to go. And I'm just going to mention one other park, and that's because I can. And it's in Kansas City, Missouri, up on the north side, and it's Penguin Park. My grandfather and grandmother used to take me there, and my sisters when we were kids, and it has a special place in my heart, and it's so cute, and they've kept it up, and it's a nice little fun park. So if you're up north and you need a park, I would try Penguin Park because I think it's pretty awesome. So as you can see, Kansas City, Missouri has something for everyone, and they kind of have all the fun stuff, right? All the downtown and the Chiefs and blah, blah, blah. They get it all. Anyway, if you have questions or want to kind of check out more of Kansas City, Missouri, let me know. We can do that. And also, if you are considering moving here, if you're considering relocating to Kansas City, go ahead and check out and download my free relocation guide. It will give you links to all the school districts in Kansas City, Missouri, as well as other cities. It will give you links to all of the activities that I've mentioned. It will give you links to all of the different arts activities. So this is an all-inclusive, fabulous relocation guide. And remember, you deserve to love where you live.